All right, 3, 2, and 1. All right, welcome back to another episode of Persuasion by the Pint. I'm Jonathan Taylor, along with
Sean McCool and Jonathan. Today we have no guest.
no guest. Shocker.
We got to figure this out on our own.
Yep, we have to do a little thinking, or prompting.
Yeah, whichever.
One of the two. No guest today, which is kind of fun. We get to do whatever, and so we chose to talk about a little bit about last week's Super Bowl ads, right?
Yeah,
because we do this kind of this every year, but we might be tying it into a book that's out there that I stumbled across from Ben Settle, and I had sent it your way, but it was it's a very short read. It was written back in
comic
early
book, right?
yeah. It's about as thin as a comic book. I mean, look at this. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like 30 pages. But it's a cool story, and it took me about 30 minutes to read. It's a book called Obvious Atoms. So if you're a copywriter, it's actually a pretty good read for pretty good reminder for anyone out there in copywriting or advertising. And we'll get to the gist of the book, and hopefully we'll tie this into some ads that we got to watch last Sunday.
Yeah, sounds good. I see you're at the Man in the Pub up there.
Yeah, I'm
walk in while you're there.
Yep, got it's a slow day. Business is slow today. In the background, there's no one coming or going. Yeah. So I got the place to myself.
Well, let's talk about these beverages we got going on today. I'll go first since I've already got mine pulled up. So today I am having a chocolate peanut butter imperial stout by Great Divide Brewing, and it's the Yeti kind of line of beverages that they have.
Yep.
So this is 9.5%, 75 IBUs, and I mean I can smell the peanut butter when I poured it.
Oh man, I love that.
So it's basically almost a Reese's cup in a can. Hopefully,
I tell you, yeah. I'll give it at least a 4 or 5 just for that art. I love the art.
Yeah, it's a good brand too. I actually have the Yeti mug that I got for Christmas in a gift pack a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So pretty sure I've had this one before, but it's been at least 3 years since I've had it. So
yeah,
we can start recycling some of these year one beers now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Start coming back to them. So what do you have over there?
Well, we both. So this was a new one for me. Hub City. Have you had anything by Hub City Brewing?
That does not sound familiar. Which city is that? Where is Hub City?
Hub City. Let's check it out.
Is that like?
Let's check out.
I don't know
City.
that nickname.
They're based out of Jackson, Tennessee. They're on the west side of the state.
Okay.
They got some cool art too.
It's a lot of times where we go when we were driving from Knoxville to Dallas or somewhere. That was a good stopping point.
Well, this is their I have their Snowplow Vanilla Porter.
Okay. Oh, Vanilla Porter. Sounds good.
Vanilla Porter. Yep. And this is a
looks like an energy drink brand for skiers and snowboarders.
Yeah, it does. Look at some of these others. Rivalry IPA. I wouldn't have that. I like the
Pirate Ale.
The Pirate Ale.
Yeah, looks good.
I love the art there. That's pretty cool. Yeah. But this is it says, look out, Jack Frost. Here comes Snowplow to take the cold with abundant amounts of roast balanced with the delicious taste of Southern snow cream. 7.2%.
If you pour it and it's yellow, that's not good because snow is not supposed to be yellow. So.
I won't be drinking it if I see any yellow in here.
It is a vanilla stout, though, right?
We talked about recycling beer, but not that kind of recycling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a stout.
This is not Bear Grylls' show, so we're not doing that.
No, it's a porter, vanilla porter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So hides
All
the
right.
P. Can't see it.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's cheers it up.
Cheers it up. I don't have the
Too obvious.
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
have
you're
this I don't have the sound
clink.
effect today, so I'll have to say clink.
Yeah, I had to go with the Yeti cup since I had it instead of the old chug mug, but it'll be back next week.
Oh man.
All right.
All right. You
I'll
go
go
first.
first. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4.75. It's what you would expect a peanut butter imperial stout to be. That's good.
A 4.75.
So 4.75. How about you? You're making nice sounds over there.
Oh man.
Going through that pretty quick.
I'm gonna go a 4.89. A 4.89.
All right. Wow. That's pretty
solid.
That's about as high as we get right there.
There we go. We had to use our StreamYard effects. Oh yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, let's jump into it. So that's a good one. You like that?
It's very good. I'd recommend it. Hub City Brewing, Jackson, Tennessee. Did not know about them.
Very nice. All right. Well, let's talk about Obvious Adams. And you got a football?
Super Bowl.
Oh, Super Bowl. I was like, what is the football for? Yeah, Super Bowl ads.
I always keep a football at the desk. It's kind of like I have fidgety fingers. So
instead of like, so in A Few Good Men, Tom Cruise had his bat.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Think better with your football.
I've either got a golf club, which I have a golf club simulator by my desk, or football. Yeah. So one of the two.
That's cool.
Keeps the brain going.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. So tell me about the you saw the book from recommendation from Ben Settle. You bought it, you read it. I did not do my homework. I did not read it.
Yeah.
I asked Chad about it. So tell me in your words, kind of what this 30-page book was about.
Yeah. So it's actually a really good. I wasn't overly when I got it, I kind of threw it on the table, but then picked it up one night, started reading through it, thought, hey, this would be a good reminder for a show where we don't have a guest. And, especially after last week with some of the Super Bowl ads, we'll talk about that. But this book is it's a story. It's written in a story setting. I think the first edition was written back in like 1920 or something around there. I mean, it's quite dated. But it centers around a guy named Oliver Adams, who becomes a standout advertising executive by consistently identifying the most straightforward, like common sense solutions that so many other advertisers overlook. So he's kind of the young gun in this advertising agency, comes in and so they put him to work in the mailroom and all of these things, outside of copywriting. And so he's out to prove himself. So he gets involved in some of their campaigns where they've got these veteran copywriters that have been there forever. And, they're all about writing slick copy, flashy ideas, all of these things. And here comes this guy who brings more of a simple approach, to the copy. So he comes up and starts taking it upon himself to prove himself, at this firm or this advertising agency, and offers to do. He kind of takes it upon himself on his spare time at home to write some ads for them that they weren't overly impressed with his copy editors, but they were very effective. So we can talk about a few, but the whole premise is going back to it, and it goes back to, and I was thinking about this, I was actually tying this book after I read it and like thinking about some of the marketing and sales that I do in my industry, and what are some overlooked opportunities where, you're trying to be clever, which I think a lot of times we overlook the obvious, just trying to be clever, cute to get people's attention. And you see that in a lot of ads. You see that in advertising. It's a lot of money spent on attention, but really, does it tie the product into really the fundamental need or desire of, the consumer, the person that you're marketing to.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, some examples, and I think there's definitely a place for that. But I
Mhm.
actually got in a little bit of a back and forth this week about this idea of, the Super Bowl ads. They're mostly branding kind of ideas
Yeah.
and direct response.
Right.
And, the problem with comparing branding and direct response, it's not even the same game. Like, you're not even
Right.
playing the same game.
No.
And a lot of people, I think, especially in the direct response world, forget or don't understand that there are real dollars and cents behind brand equity and brand value.
Yeah.
And that you can actually do the math. You can convert even 150. So if you had a $10 million Super Bowl ad, because the person I was going back and forth with, they're like, $10 million for Super Bowl, it seems like a waste. None of them
Yeah.
asked, none of them, whatever. It's a very direct response kind of thing. But you can literally say, well, look, you spent $10 million.
Mhm.
You get 100 billion impressions. There's like 150 million viewers. So let's say 100 million saw it.
Yep.
I mean, you do the math. That's cost per impression is probably lower than what you're getting on Facebook.
Mhm.
If you ask a Facebook ads guy, they'd be like, well, yeah, man, that's not a bad price for, because we're going to get so many conversions out of that and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Right.
There's so you can do a cost analysis, even though a lot of people think that that's just $1 million wasted. It's not. There's a very
Right.
real value to it.
Yeah.
Now, so I think the question here is like, how do you do both?
Right.
Which is what one person said. How do you get a little bit of both in there? And I'm looking at the top 5, scores from USA Today. They have this thing, the ad meter that they do every Super Bowl.
Yep.
And according to them, the top, and I don't know the full metrics, I didn't get into it, but the top 5 commercials were Budweiser with the horse and the eagle, American icons. Lay's, the Lay's Harvest.
Mhm.
Put these up on the screen.
Yep.
Pepsi, the Choice, and then Dunkin's Goodwill Dunkin', which I thought that was terrible.
That was horrible. I didn't. It got some
yeah.
really good reviews, but I thought it was kind of stupid.
Yeah, and then Michelob Ultra
Yeah.
was the Ultra Trainer, so Ultra Instructor. So those are the big ones, and I think Budweiser is exactly what you would expect. Like, I would not expect them to point out something that maybe Obvious Adams would point out.
Right.
Like, I don't know what he would find for Budweiser at this point.
Mhm.
It'd be interesting to know, but before we go like down that road, like I did a quick, search about it, and it sounds like what he did, and you tell me if I'm wrong and you can elaborate, but like the way he found the obvious thing was by doing the research that most people didn't want to do.
Exactly. Yep.
So it wasn't obvious.
He spent a lot of time. No.
It was only obvious after the fact.
After the fact, yeah.
Yeah. That's what's funny about research a lot of times, because I know that for myself. If I don't have good research for what I'm writing about, then you do end up trying to be clever or cute or funny or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So what were some of his research, or or do you have any examples from the book?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it reminds me a lot of the Claude Hopkins, because Claude Hopkins was he came around. He was probably around this same time.
I think scientific advertising was 26.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was around the same time.
So he would have been in his career at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we've talked about the example where Hopkins goes to the Slits. It's Slits beer at the time. Right. Yep. And they're suffering. I think they got knocked down. I don't know if they were the fourth, fifth brand. They were trying to, push their market share up. And so he did they hired Claude Hopkins. He visited the plant. He walked through and looked at some of the most obvious things that they do, which is, how they sanitize their the bottles, and the process, which the people, the operators and the people on the floor said, and the technical people said, well, this is everybody does it this way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're not doing anything any different than
Nothing
what
special here.
Budweiser, nothing special. But
Yeah.
but that wasn't the case, because I mean, it was nothing special, but the fact of the matter is no one else was highlighting the process by which they packaged it and bottled it, and the clarity in their, or the purity of their beer, the process
Yeah. And
that they went.
you think back when this was going on, the 20s, like not everybody had clean running water, right? I mean, they had well water, they had,
Right, right,
you know, people reusing stuff. Like, I
exactly.
mean, it was a different, you had the meat packing plant problems back in that era,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, industry was still dirty, is my point,
Hmm. Yeah,
right? A lot of
yeah, because
factories were still dirty, like
right.
all that stuff. So I think that's an angle we don't talk about enough when we tell that story, is kind of the context of what was going on
Yeah, what
around
was
that time
happening?
to
Yeah,
really
because that
make
would
that be
fly
like,
today.
yeah,
No one would care today. I mean, it's like that wouldn't be an issue, because it's a different
yeah.
time.
People aren't as, now it might have worked in COVID, right? During
Yeah,
COVID,
right.
somebody had to come out with that angle or something like that. Hot
Yeah,
steam
that's a
kills,
good point.
you know.
Yep,
But for the most of our lives anyway,
yeah.
you kind of already expect manufacturing and things like that to be pretty clean. That would not have been like a big shocker, I don't think.
Mhm.
I don't
Yep,
know that ad would have worked in 1985 or 2025. You know what I mean?
yep.
So that's just my hypothesis.
Yeah.
Um, First time I've
So,
ever
yeah.
thought about that actually around that story. But
Yeah.
uh, so what were some obvious atoms? That was Claude Hopkins. What
So
was
so
some of
his
the stuff?
first campaign was a California peach campaign, um,
Okay.
where he took a focus with generic advertising, talking about, the peaches themselves, uh, and what he did, he took, instead of focusing on the product, um, he highlighted more of a direct to consumer benefit. So he created a headline called 6 minutes from orchard to can.
Okay.
Now, and that was talking about, okay, the freshness, and how fast we're canning these fresh peaches. And so he did something different, taking that approach of what are people looking for. So a lot of research went behind that. um Another one was a bond paper manufacturer. So he said, instead of trying to come up with a creative angle for paper, a paper manu in a you know when he was working with a paper manufacturer, he researched the production process, much like we just said, the Claude Hopkins, and suggested highlighting the simple facts that paper was made of selected white rags, and it used pure filtered water, was loft dried and hand inspected.
Nice.
So highlighting the crafting of this bond paper. This is premium paper. This is like just everyday writing paper, So,
Right.
um, so yeah, I mean, again, going back to the example of, scientific advertising, doing your homework, doing your research, but identifying the things that really, even though they might be common to the manufacturing process or the people that manufacture it, he explained that, right, to the consumer.
Well, I think so. If we take that approach, then I think the Lay's commercial does a really good
I
job
I
of
did,
that.
yeah, I thought that was, yeah, thinking about that, I thought that was pretty good, because it showed them growing the potatoes,
Yeah, it shows family farms, shows the
right,
process. It's generational. Like to
right,
me, that's a good use of that kind of
right.
thinking,
Yep,
right? And it's unique, it's memorable, it's emotional, um, and yet it's not necessarily direct response. Know exactly that this is working kind of thing,
sure.
but it is pulling out that unique angle. And they've done
Yep,
they had a couple other commercials, even last year, where they were kind of getting into that family farm,
yep,
kind of vibe,
yep.
which I think is smart because it makes it feel is crazy. I mean, even though it doesn't change the way they're made, it makes it
Yep.
feel more healthy because you see green fields, you see
Mhm.
tractors,
Yep.
all that stuff. So I think it's a great
I do
series
too.
of ads
Yeah.
based on that. Now Duncan,
Not so much.
I
I
mean,
like
that's
the
about the
nostalgia. I like
personalities. Yeah,
the nostalgia part of that was pretty cool, going back because I love Good Will Hunting, but boy, that was pretty dumb.
it was weird that Affleck was playing Will, and like it's just like you know, like you really had to know the movie to kind of
Joey from Friends, I didn't
yeah.
quite
It's like
get that. What's going
they're
on here?
just throwing all the leftovers in a blender, I guess, or
Yeah,
something.
right.
It's like commercial of the month instead of
Yep.
coffee of the month. I mean, Budweiser was exactly what you would expect, right?
Yep.
Clydesdales, they brought those back. I actually I found it hard to like get into it emotionally because
Mhm.
the little eagle was obviously CGI'd and it was kind of clunky and it
Right.
didn't look like a real baby bird.
Mhm.
So that part for me, it just kind of kept me from really
Yeah.
getting into it.
Yeah.
That could have been, cleaned up a little bit better, I think.
Sure.
But hey, when you're paying 10 million for the spot, the budget, beer sales are down. We know that.
Yeah.
It's like times are tough at Budweiser, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let them slide for that. But yeah, other than those, I mean, I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember a lot of the other commercials. It's kind of unmemorable.
So they had a Squarespace ad that I remember that it's focusing on your domain name, the importance, so
Mm,
that's um it was with what's the actress Emma Stone, I think
yeah,
was
she
she
kept
was in
checking
that.
to see if her name was on there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So and I think that was part. I mean, you could take some examples. I mean, that was somewhat obvious, it's on point and it's cutting through all the noise and making it simple. It's so important to get your domain name or your personalized domain.
yeah,
Um, but there's so few that I can think of out of this. I do like the Lays. I think that's probably the best example
I think so
of
too.
all of them that we've talked to, and I think some of the best of all times. You think about some of the most memorable is, I think about we've talked about 1,000 songs in your pocket by Apple. That's to
Yeah,
me that's a great example of, looking at the obvious. Like, what do people truly want? Looking at what your consumer really wants. And Steve Jobs had an amazing knack for being able to identify what without getting a lot of research, product research or consumer research, knowing what people wanted.
yeah. So here I pulled up some of the other ads that did not leave an impression.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
got
yeah.
Ring camera. Oh, Ring. That was kind of hot for 2 days afterwards. So the
Yeah.
Ring camera ad where they talked about you can now use us to look over
Oh,
your whole
yes.
neighborhood
Yep.
to find your
Yep.
pets, and everybody's
To
like, that
find your
ain't
dog.
about pets.
That's actually really good. To me, that probably does win the
I felt like
obvious.
that was like I felt like it was very good and like it tugged on my emotional heartstrings for
Yes.
finding a lost dog, but all the feedback was immediate because I immediately went there too. It's like, oh, they're just using that to surveil and like
Oh, yeah.
they're watching
Right.
everybody.
Yeah.
And the fact is, Ring Camera does have an agreement with Flock Networks that works with the police. So
Right.
your stuff's your video that you pay for is can be used by law enforcement whenever they want.
Sure.
So yeah, it's that's the conversation that people were having afterwards. They were like, "That
Mhm.
ain't about dog." Even my daughter said it. She's
Uh,
like, "That wasn't about dogs."
okay. That's interesting.
So
Yeah.
that's the buzz I've been hearing about that one is people were like they were looking up other alternatives to Ring. Like
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to like check in at their quarterly reports and see if like subscribers are down,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Or some dog poops on your lawn. You got
yeah.
you're like, "Hey, buddy." You know.
Then there was like the Pokemon ad, which I was never a
I didn't
Pokemon guy, but
I wasn't either.
I know there's a whole generation out there that is.
Yep.
I thought that you can just build things is pretty good from OpenAI.
Yes.
I thought
And
that was
I thought it was clever, Claude's, poking fun at,
yeah.
advertising, or ChatGPT advertising. I thought that was pretty clever. Of course, they released that a lot of these were available way before the Super Bowl, so you kinda knew about it, but, I think that was a pretty I think it was too clever though,
Yeah.
because, they were kinda hinting around it, but I think most people knew exactly who they who they were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they were obviously going straight after ChatGPT users.
ChatGPT,
But the
yeah.
thing is, the paid users aren't gonna see ads.
No,
It's only the free ones.
right.
So do you really I mean, I guess if you get enough free people over, then some of those are gonna upgrade, but,
Yep,
at this point, the free users of chat are, probably not the best customers that you want anyway.
right,
And there are
exactly.
a lot of ads. I didn't realize there was this many, and I do not remember most of them, which is
Yeah,
pretty sad.
most of them were forgettable.
Of course, I could have been in a trance because the game was so boring.
It was very
That
boring.
that was probably part of it.
Yeah,
So, um, that's tough. Like, because if people are at a party and they tune and the game is boring, they kind of start to tune out and
yep,
go stand in corners, go to the kitchen and eat dip and that kind of stuff. Then that $10 million spot you paid for, that viewership goes from 150 to 125 to 100 to 50,
right.
because people just start tuning out. I mean, luckily the
Yep.
second half had a little more excitement, but it was still not a great,
Not much, not much.
not a great Super Bowl. I should say it
Any,
had more action. I don't know if it had any more
yeah.
excitement. Slightly more action.
In terms of, do you think that are there any, all-time ads that stand out or, slogans? You can go slogans, ads,
From the Super Bowl
uh,
or just in general?
just in general, not necessarily. Yeah, it doesn't have to be Super Bowl that stand out and fit this um, obvious Adams approach to
Well, here's the thing.
advertising.
I think sometimes the stuff that he talks about is obvious. Even when you see the resulting ad,
Yeah.
it's not obvious. The one I'm thinking about is Febreze. We've talked about this before.
Mhm.
But when they were having trouble selling Febreze. They couldn't sell it. And they were talking about, all the things you could do. And when they put people in a room and they had them use, clean up their house and then use the stuff.
Yeah.
And then they found out that there was this moment, and you now see it in, the older Febreze commercials
Mhm.
where they spray it and they're just like, and what they realized it wasn't necessarily about the smell as much as it was like the finishing touch to cleaning your room.
Right.
So it was almost like a ritual
Mhm.
when you were done,
That's right.
cleaning a room or something like
Yep.
that. That's what they found when they did the,
That's a
the case
great
studies.
example. Yeah, because that's not what they originally started. I mean, they
Right.
were
And so it was much more of an emotional thing than anything about the fragrance or the getting rid
right.
of odors. It was like,
Yeah.
it was just a different aspect. And that's what really put Febreze on the map. I think since they've gone back to more kind of product feature,
Yep.
eliminates odors, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing that launched Febreze. So when I hear like obvious, like, yeah, I can see how that would never be obvious if you didn't do a ton of consumer research and like
Right.
watch people use the product and
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Um, Swiffer kind of does the same thing now. But as far as
Yeah.
all time, man,
Hard to
it's hard to, yeah, it's hard for one. I think Where's the Beef ranks up there.
I was thinking about that one earlier because that's to me, that's one of the all-time greatest. Where's the
Yeah,
beef?
which is kind of funny because to me, Wendy says like their hamburgers feel the smallest,
Mhm.
thinnest. I don't know.
Well,
And I even worked
yeah.
there in high school, but it did.
Yeah.
But the beef did stick outside the bun, and that was kind of a cool
Mhm.
thing about
That was different at the
Wendy's.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
That was new.
different.
And I
And
think that was to me, that was a prime example of what he's talking about is looking at, what people McDonald's had the big bun, the small burger on the inside, or most
what's funny,
hamburgers.
but the thing is, it was the the same size burger.
Yeah.
Like they're both quarter pounders, right?
Sure.
They're both about that same size.
Yep.
But yeah, one the bun covered it, and one it stuck out of the edges on the corners because the corners of the squares stick out.
Yeah.
And I loved Wendy's growing up. Still like Wendy's. Still, there's now much better burger places around, but
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's one that ranks up there. How about you? Well, I'm trying to think of another one.
I'd go back to what you were saying on the Febreze, because we talked about this, and there's another aspect of not only doing research but also inventing problems in the marketplace. Like, and I think sometimes that's where your research comes in to find that if you can't solve a problem, sometimes you have to invent a problem that doesn't exist and solve that. Like Listerine. Halitosis was is a made up thing. It was never a real thing. Halitosis, bad breath. Halitosis was just an invented word for just having lousy breath.
Yeah.
So, but they created this whole campaign around halitosis, and that's what sold. That's what took them to the next level, because Listerine originally was like just an antiseptic type used in.
Yeah, now that I think they talk more about like gum disease and stuff like that, right? Preventing gum disease.
Absolutely.
It kills bacteria, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one that came to mind for me is, and it's been around for, like, one thing I look at is how long did the advertising campaign last, which is not always the only metric, obviously, but this one's been around forever. Bounty, the quicker picker upper.
Oh yeah.
Now part of that is the rhyming of it. Part of it is, was it Ogilvy or whoever said that like the best form of advertisement is demonstration?
Yep. And you always see that the hand with the paper towel wiping.
Yeah.
And it's just one wipe. One wipe is all you need. You don't need like 3 or 4 wipes with a dozen paper towels.
Yep. Right. And they always show like the liquid about to run off the edge of the table. And it's like, I don't know who has paper towels in their hand ready for something like that. Like,
ready to go.
You got to go find the paper towel and grab it, tear it off. But and then they've used that same kind of demonstration, which I guess is kind of sort of something Adams might have done. Obvious Adams might have done, right? If you see that in diaper commercials where they show how much liquid it can hold, tampon commercials, like all these things, pad commercials, like all this stuff. They love pouring that, red or blue goo out to see how much it can absorb. So I think that the ads that actually demonstrate the product are great.
Yeah.
And obviously it's hard to do that with a lot of products, but when you can, and that's to your point with 1,000 songs in your pocket, that's not a actual demonstration, but it's a demonstration in words. Like, oh my God, usually I can get, 8 to 10 songs on a cassette tape or a CD. And that's about it. Right.
Yeah.
And if I can only carry so many of those.
Right.
And this was 1,000 songs. I mean,
imagine 1,000 songs. Still one of the all-time best.
Yeah. And the iPod is still better than the iPhone.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yep. I agree.
The tactileness of it, the
wheel.
Yeah.
The physical wheel. It's nothing like it.
Yeah. That's a great device. Do they still make those? I don't even know if they make those still.
I think you can get them. They don't.
I have to get one.
They don't.
Instead of taking my phone on walks, just take an iPod on walks.
My first was the mini, or what was it? The
shuffle.
The shuffle, yes.
The square one.
The shuffle. Yep. Could clip it to my
go for a jog and
clip it right to my sweatshirt or sweat jacket and go for a jog. So as opposed to holding onto your phone today, that's here's another obvious example. So
it's so there's some good examples. Hey, I want to talk about one other thing before we wrap up. I know we got a shorter day today.
Yep.
I got to talk about the streaker guy at the Super Bowl, and I got to talk about it because he's not actually a streaker, and it's bugging me. Like, So I got a little bit of a rant. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're calling this guy a streaker, you are part of the problem in America, because this guy went on the field with pants
NBC,
on.
did NBC even show that? I mean,
They
I
did
didn't
not
see it.
show it, and the guy had
Okay.
pants on.
Okay.
He took his shirt off, but he still had black jogging pants.
Yep.
And tennis shoes. I think he had tennis shoes. That's not streaking. Like, we have so lowered our standards in this country that now streaking requires pants. I mean, it's ridiculous.
We need to redefine streaking.
We need to redefine.
Make streaking great again.
Yes, like, if you're gonna do it, I mean, that's like bungee jumping from the ground. I mean, like, what's the point? It's like there's no point to it. And he was trying to do a business deal.
He's just going halfway. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's not fully committed, not fully invested.
Yeah.
In his,
or divested in this case, I guess, maybe. Yeah, it's just bugged me. Did you know, by the way, Jonathan, that our alma mater, University of Georgia, is known for the largest streak event?
Really?
In 1974, they had 1,500 streakers go through Athens.
Wow.
Through campus. 1,500.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me.
In 1974 in Athens? Yeah. Not surprising at all.
Not surprised at all.
I will say, you're allowed to wear shoes. You're allowed to wear shoes when you streak. I'll give you that. Okay. And maybe a cape, a short cape, just for showmanship.
Yep.
But pants, that's just unacceptable. Like, that is not streaking. Go buy I know the guy's trying to pump up his business and all that kind of stuff. Like, go buy some Google ads, man. Don't waste my time with fake streaking. So that's my old man rant.
Well, if the audience didn't see him, I mean, all he was getting was a little, he's getting some free publicity, obviously.
Well, he had the meta glasses on, so he recorded the whole event.
He recorded. Okay, gotcha.
Then he put it as content the next day. But a real streaker's not doing it as content the next day. Like,
you said the price of that that close to he was sitting close to the
he said his tickets were $50,000.
Okay.
Yeah, $50,000.
Wow.
And he had a partner with him who jumped over first to distract the security guards so that he could go out and.
Oh man, a decoy. He had a decoy.
Yeah. He had a decoy. So I don't know if that $50,000 includes his ticket. I would imagine it did.
Oh, I'm sure. You got to pay for two. Yeah, wow.
So yeah, apparently it's his second time doing it.
This was planned out. Yeah, because you're right. He did this twice. I'm sure a lot of planning goes into something like this.
Yeah,
if he's done it before, I'm sure that if he's done it at a Super Bowl before, I'm sure that they've got to probably. I'm sure he got banned, right?
He was wearing a fake, like, gnome beard and glasses.
Oh, okay. So he had a disguise going.
Yeah, he had it planned out. And that's what I'm saying. Streaking should not be a planned out media event. Like, it should be spontaneous. It should be completely stupid.
Well, if you're doing it the second time, you can't be spontaneous. So
yeah.
You got to plan out a little. So, you can be spontaneous the first time, but you can't be spontaneous the second time because you're not even going to get in.
Yeah. But for the history and the tradition of streaking.
So I'm assuming he didn't wear pants the first time.
He didn't wear pants. No, he did. Yeah, he wore pants first time too.
Okay. All right. So neither one. He's wow.
Yeah, he's a serial streaker who's never taken
2 for 2.
It's crazy.
Oh well.
So anyway,
he got his.
That's the state of the world these days. That's why kids are soft.
Back in my day, yell at cloud. Back in my day,
yes,
streakers didn't wear pants.
That's right.
Oh man, good stuff. Well, again, the book, going back to the book, it's Obvious Atoms. I would recommend, it's worth a read. You probably get it on Kindle for like a couple of bucks. But a little quote by Jack Trout. Most people know him in the advertising world. Says the best book that I have ever read on marketing. That's saying a lot from someone of his stature.
Yeah. For somebody who wrote the 22 irrefutable laws of marketing. Is that what it was?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, grab the book. It's probably, like you said, it's It's probably a free copy floating around because it's public domain at this point.
Yeah,
So
I think somebody bought the rights to it, but I think it's in public domain regardless because it's 1916. So
yeah, because I saw several different copies on Amazon.
oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. You can republish it.
so make your own copy and sell it on Amazon if you want.
I might just have to do that. I might have to
Yeah, a little
republish
different.
this. Add your own flair to it. There you go.
Yeah,
There's
add
your
your own
book.
spin, some modern day examples.
There you go.
Boom.
Yep. Add some pictures.
Yep.
All right. Well, to all of our listeners, this will wrap up. We do have a guest next week. We're going to be talking about the science and psychology of smells and how they are used in
Smells.
marketing and sales, or marketing to persuade us.
Oh,
It's very intentional. If you haven't thought about it, the science of smell is very intentional. So
that's interesting. That's a new angle we have not tackled. So I'm excited
I
to hear about
know.
it.
That's what, yeah. And our guest is actually be looking for some samples that we're going to get because she wants us to do during the live show. We're going to be doing some smell tests, I guess, on some samples that she's sending us.
Very nice.
And she's going to get our feedback on that. So should be fun. Yep.
I will cleanse my palate before the show.
All right. Check us out, persuasionbythepint.com. To all of our listeners, check us out on your favorite platforms where you listen to podcasts. And hope everyone has a great weekend. We will see you next week.
See ya.